Thank you for your kind words. I was reminded of a dialogue from Munna Bhai, Rulayega kya yaar? And the reason I am making that is because today's speech is not going to be heavy lifting. I promise that today we'll be speaking more about the companionship and less about the eternal aspect. We did the Jnana Marga and the Karma Marga yesterday. Today let's enjoy the Bhakti Marga part. And because that's the beauty of our Lord, is it not? He has given all kinds of experiences to all of us. He has given us the sweetness of His love, and He has taken us to the heights of ecstasy of oneness. He has given us all experiences. It's all out there for us to open our eyes, open ourselves, open our beings to those experiences and make it our own. That's why He is the Purna Avatar. He's everything put into that one small form which is infinite, right? This is a beautiful symbol of Sai infinity. It's not 100, it's Sai infinity, right? And whoever has designed this logo, hats off. It's a fantastic thing. And what bhajans today, my God, yesterday and today, I think unbelievable. I should when you are in the Jnana Marga part, yesterday I was more engrossed with what am I going to say, and it was too heavily loaded on my head, and I was too enmeshed in the framework. I did not enjoy it as much as I did today. Today I was immersed. I was in Prasanthi Nilayam. I closed my eyes. I did not, and even if you open the eyes, you see Prasanthi Nilayam, right? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Today was an unbelievable experience. It was as if the Guru Purnima, where the international devotees, or the Christmas time where international devotees would come and sing in Prasanthi Nilayam in Swami's presence. It was like that, completely like that. And hats off to the organization that has continued to maintain those high qualities, right? Continue to maintain that high quality. It's not easy. I mean, I'm sure there'll be so much of screening going on, so much of practice, how to, match your voices with somebody else. I see that it's not single singing here. Two of you are singing together. I can't even imagine how much of practice it takes, being musically challenged that I am. So, what we'll do anyway, coming to the companion part, I'm reminded of a beautiful Sufi song, which used to be my favorite, which continues to be my favorite. In that there is one beautiful line which the singer says, it's Abida Parveen's song. She says, Akl ke madrase se ut, Akl ke madrase se ut, Ishq ke mahkade mein aa. It's a beautiful, it says, get up from the Akl ka madrasa, the school, the madrasa of the intellect, and come to the intoxication of love. It's a beautiful invitation. Ishq ke mahkade mein aa. Come to the intoxication, the tavern of love. Forget all that intellectual. Come, and that's Bhagawan. Yesterday we saw the divinity aspect of Him, the unreachable, the infinite aspect. Yesterday we went here, right? We went to the infinite. Today we are coming to the form. Let's discuss about the form. And I was so happy yesterday to hear my other Bombay brother speak about the whole thing, that I think we should dwell a little bit about the common thread that all of us traverse as we come towards the Divine Lord. My life was the same. It's the same middle class Bombay life. Uncertain about my future, uncertain about anything, no direction, nothing. I remember as a child, I had friends who would bully me a lot. In my 7th class, I was a small, sweet-looking kid, and I was to be bullied in my 7th class. And as a defense mechanism, I had picked up, spikes around me, and those spikes were words. I would use the choicest of expletives to push them back, and I could, as I say, I could make a sailor blush with my language, as they say, and that was something that had continued up to my 12th class. Every sentence was filled with an expletive, and because you have to project a strong image, you have to project something, that okay, I am invincible, kind of a thing. The body attachment, because of the life experiences. What Swami says, that leave the body attachment, is not the body attachment to this body, only the physical aspect of the body. It is your self-belief about what you are, what you have experienced, the collective, the vasanas, not just over the years, over the lifetimes, but over the years as a childhood, the childhood trauma, the childhood experience, they all accumulate, and that creates a complete imprisonment, a cage that we don't see for ourselves. And just as Bhagawan gives that beautiful example of the ember, which brings out the ash, and the ash covers the ember itself, and it is the Divine Master who blows away those ashes and makes that ember shine throughout. So my story today, dear brothers and sisters, as I walk you through the various phases of my life with Swami, is all about Bhagavan breaking those one by one, those beliefs that I have put around myself, and trying to free me from those things. I'm not saying that I'm free now. I have got still a ton of barriers to break. As I grow, I see, oh my God, this itself is there. Oh, one more to be broken. This is a vestige of my past. That needs to be broken. And I think that's the reason I'm telling this story, is that's the journey of all of us. Each one of us are traversing with this same journey, where you're slowly, as you read Bhagavan's literature, as you become aware of certain aspects of his teachings, you see some vestige of your anatma, which is not your true self. And you discard that, right? And the love of Swami, the ishq ka maikada, that tavern of the intoxicated tavern of love, is the anesthesia that he gives when he performs that surgery of breaking it down, right? That's the intoxication. That love is the anesthesia, so that you don't feel the pain of he performing that surgery. I think that's a good image to keep in our mind as we listen to the story, because I know that when you listen to somebody else's story, there is also one part of your anatma, part of each one of your anatma that comes up. Why he? Why not me? Why did I not get that chance? Understand that this is one individual who was picked up from the streets, one expletive spewing young kid, teenager who was picked from the streets and was worked upon. And each one of us need to just offer ourselves to Swami to work, offer ourselves to that workshop. So I was this youngster, I was, even before my 7th class incidents, I was a young, what shall I say, vivacious, boisterous young child, monkeying around with a towel, tuck under the chaddi, and going around like Hanuman, burning the entire Lanka, kind of a thing. My grandparents. So these were wonderful memories of me, right? Where my grandfather would really come, pick me, take a towel and put it inside my chaddi, and then go, and he'll do. And then I would go, jumping around table and putting my mother on fire and my father on fire, and all those things. That's the beauty of having grandparents at home. And In all those things, I remember seeing my father meditating here and there, and the saddest part was that he would every once in a while pull me to sit and meditate, and how can you make a monkey sit and meditate, right? The monkey's biggest challenge is itching, and for me, the moment I sit, the itch would magnify, manifold, and every single part of my body would be itching, and I would, and sitting still was the biggest challenge at that point of time. For us, 8-year-old. This is my childhood, and it's a small one bedroom home, 1 hall, and a small kitchen, which is supposed to be a spacious house in Bombay, a 500 square feet house, 500 square feet. It's like 50 square meters, right? It's a spacious house in Bombay. Father, a banker; mother, a housewife. One younger brother who came and intruded into my kingdom, right? And then. So this is the everyday story of youngsters, and in that comes my dad again saying that, do you want to see God? And I'm terrified that more meditation down the way. Fortunately, he just opens a book and shows me a picture of Swami and says that he is God. I'm intrigued. He is God, and that's my introduction as a 7-year-old, probably my introduction to Swami. And then I started seeing him, on one of the pictures, not in the middle. The center was Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and on the side was up there was Baba. And then slowly I saw him come down into the center, right? So he came into the center space. So these were my memories of a child growing up, and I always narrate this how a child relates to the divine. Was that he becomes real. He starts becoming real because dad has told that he is God, and the concept of God keeps evolving in a child's mind, that he is omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, and all those words. We are learning those things in the moral science class in moral science. Okay, in the St. Francis DSSE Boys High School, we were exempted from the religion class, but was given moral sciences class, and in there we hear about that version of God. And I started fearing that photograph because it was an eerie photograph, because that you look at me, I look at you kind of a photograph. It was, so any corner of the room you go, you can see the photo watching you, and for an 8-year-old, that's scary. And so he's really watching you. Omniscience was very visible to me. And as I keep narrating this 100 times, my biggest challenge was that he's watching me and he's watching the refrigerator, which is there. And my mother would sleep, but those eyes are watching. So I had the habit of sneaking and taking a small chocolate or something from the fridge and running into the hall and then eating it there. But then this photo came in, which says, if you look at me, I look at you. We are problem solvers at that age. At 8, we are amazing problem solvers. So my idea was simple. Close your eyes and pick it up, right? I would literally close my eyes and pick the chocolate and then run out. Because if you look at me, I look at you. Don't look at me. That's the 8-year-old interacting with divinity, trying to come to terms with what is God. And I'm sure that especially the Bal Vikas students, especially the Bal Vikas teachers, the SSE teachers, and hats off to the program yesterday, hats off to Brother Chetan and Brother Srinath. I saw only them, I saw only their fatherly love on the kids, but I know that 1,000-fold of that must have been the motherly love from the SSE teachers who would have done this magic. But that's the image that they are forming. They have their own story, their own relationship forming, their own mental models, their own heartful models coming in of incorporating Swami into their lives. Why is it that we have the young adults coming in and working with so much of passion even after graduating and looking back at at that Bal Vikas thing, oh my God, what did we really do all those things? I was impressed with those two youngsters who were comparing the program. So, I mean, our thing took too long or something on that. There was a dialogue. Oh, this project came across too easily, but ours used to take longer. So they are looking at they are grown up. They are seeing the childishness of those activities, because now there is no more Santa Claus. They know that there is no Santa Claus. They have grown up, but yet there is that passion or that fondness of that experience as a child. So that beauty of the childhood continues, I think. So that's how I was forming this relationship with Bhagawan, and then we got a chance to come to Parthi. That was my only middle class family. I'm now an adult, 51, but always thinking like a 17-year-old. So only visit with my parents that we, as a family, took like 15 days off and went booked a train ticket all the way to Puttaparthi, from there to Tirupati, and Tirupati to Madurai, to Rameshwaram, to Kanyakumari, and then Indira Gandhi passed away. Right, and we were stuck in Kanyakumari. I still remember as a 10-year-old all these memories, but the brightest of the memories of the sands of Puttaparthi, and that footprint on the sands of time, and the jump after the darshan to grab that sand from that one footprint. And I know I still have those. My father has kept some of those, because he would tell me that footprint, look at that, you should pick that. And he would ensure that footprint of that sand picked up from the footprint was covered in a piece of paper, and that paper was kept on the heart of my grandmother as she passed away, my grandfather. And that's the kind of association that forms with the divine. To me, it was a difficult period, because those 4 or 5 days spent in Prasanthi, 1 week that we spent in Prasanthi Nilayam was an amazing one. But at the same time, the strictness of the Sevadals hit me even then. Right? And those things. And I remember as a 10-year-old, I remember that. Right? And I remember standing in the line for going into the bhajan hall, and all feeling quite big, saying that I will hold the line so that my dad can come, and then Sevadal shooing me away, not for children, get out, kind of a thing. And these are memories that have etched. But then after coming back, I had a dream. As a child, I had a dream of Bhagawan coming, me playing with the sand and making a mountain, Bhagawan coming all the way. And first I see the Sevadal coming. Right? It's, oh my God, it's like the chief Sevadal who has come, who's going to scold me for playing. And then Baba sits down with me and starts playing that in that sand. This is how we children form that bond with the Lord. And that memory has etched. As a 10-year-old, that happens. And as we grow, as we proceed, that relationship, the innocence of the relationship disappears, and new relationships are formed. You start revisiting that. Remember SSC level 2 to 3, 3 to 4, that things are changing, the relationships are changing, right? And we need to accommodate that with conversations, with meaningful conversations, meaningful discussions with the kids. And that's the reason I'm walking through the discussion. I came to my 10th class, where was a most important experience, where I shared, for the first time, I learned to share a good news with the Lord. Till then, it was fear of God. And when I got 80% in 10th class, which was a big deal at that point of time, not a very big deal, but I make it a big deal. But then, coming home and finding nobody home to share it. My parents were all out. I coming to that same photograph that was staring at me all through and guarding the chocolates. To him, I went and said that I got 80%. I got 80%. I got 80%. I got 80%, right? And then was the first memory of an experience of the joy multiplying manifold, joy into infinity when you share it with the divine. That was my first memory, and it stays with me because that's when I had formed a bond with that photograph that was different from the fear. There was, how do we facilitate that? How do we facilitate that for youngsters? Nobody facilitated that for me, but can we actually facilitate that? Can we not? Now, yesterday we were having a discussion with the young adults, and they were saying that, beautiful question that brother asked them is that, how many of you have been handed down the divine relationship with Swami? That this relationship has been handed down to me. I have not formed that relationship yet. It has come down, forced down on me. Remember, it does happen. So what can we do so that the experiences that we have had with Swami, we who have had the darshan of Bhagawan, we who have had that experience of sitting at his lotus feet and feeling that inspiration, how do we ensure that the next generation and the next generations, the next centuries, form that relationship? That's something that we need to think through, and it cannot be thought through as just one monolith experience. It has to be contextualized with the growth phases of the children. So that was my experience of forming that, changing from that fear of God to love of God thing. And then comes the further questions: is the photograph real? Right? Is the photograph real? Because it's a photograph, all said and done. Because now science has come in. You're an adolescent. You're a thinking individual, becoming a mature personality of your own, with your own opinions, with your own expletives, with your own, what shall I say? Male energy. I'm giving from my perspective, right? Which says that I need to establish myself as the alpha, right, of the group. Who is that alpha? Who's that big God, right? Who's that kind of a thing? Is it real? I would not want and probably this is what the Asuric tendencies were, right? What has been magnified in our Puranas, right? Manifold, saying that these were the Asuras who said that, who are you? I am the king. I am Hiranyakashipu. I am more than... actually, I played the role of... I had those dialogues of Hiranyakashipu in one of the dramas. That I had to, who is this God that you are worshipping? And as a father of a child. But I'll come to that later. But that's the emergence of a youngster that comes in and asks the question, is he listening to me? Why am I wasting my time? Why am I wasting my time? I would rather, study. And if I have not studied, I am too, I have more dignity in me than to go and beg of him to help me pass the exam. Right? So these were the thoughts of the 17-year-old coming into my mind. And that's when Dad threw the bombshell saying that you're going to Puttaparthi. I told you, I got one more trip. No, for the entrance exam. I told, what? My friends, everything, my whole life is in Bombay there. And, I pride myself as a Bombay boy. And what is Puttaparthi? Where is it in Andhra Pradesh? Andhera, it's dark, and, I was limited mentality, right? The word formations, these are the word associations for me. Where am I going? And even in Puttaparthi, even in Bombay, that place where Mahakali Caves Road and Dharmakshetra is called Andheri. So what Andheri and Andhra. So it was a big challenge for me to see why am I going? And my mother was crying. It was the 10th of May, my parents' anniversary. The 17-year-old boy is going out. Mother was crestfallen, as if he's going away, kind of a thing, right? And I said, Mom, why are you worried, Amma? Dad may force me to go there, but entrance is in my hands. Mere haath mein hai. Mere haath mein. See you in 5-6 days. I will be back. I'll be back. Like, fully confident that I'm going to go, just like, because I had applied for the National Defense Academy. I was awaiting the results. It's a different thing that I never got the call later on. But I had written that I used to do my 5 kilometers run and my 50 push-ups and all those things. Young man, ready to go join the army and think that we'll conquer the world, and and suddenly all of a sudden Puttaparthi, and I came to Parthi. Swami wasn't there. Saw the place. Went, made a few friends, went, served in the canteen, sweating, dripping with sweat, hopefully not dripping into the food, but literally that energy complete, and then going and sitting, finding out some shady place in that blaze of sunshine, right? In that blaze of sunshine, and going and trying to find a shade where we can sit and study a little bit more, and so that I can prepare for the entrance, because by then that panic had come in. What if I don't get in here? Because this institution is unbelievable. I've never seen a college building like that. We managed to slowly sneak around the Sevadal and enter the Vidyagiri Stadium, and found another pathway from behind the hills to enter the stadium. All adventures, right? Because they said that you cannot go in. To a 17-year-old, you can't say that you can't do. It's a challenge. Can't is a challenge, right? You can't. So and we so we went there. We did all those things. Saw that place. Saw the Hanuman statue. And I said, this is what university should be. And I was feeling sad for mom that I'll not be fulfilling my promise, and I knew that I have to get in. Got in. I mean, very very somehow I remember my Vice Chancellor, Professor Sampath, who was the Vice Chancellor, is saying that, so my dear young man, I see that you have got 80% in your 10th and 54% in your 11th. What should I expect? 34 in your 12th? I was so confident. I said, no, sir, 11th I had taken it easy, because after working hard for 10th, I took it easy in 11th. 12th is going to be I'll do very well. Just manage 60, that's a different thing. But those were the 2 years which I knew would be my decline, and that's the intervention in my life that Bhagawan did, so that I come to the university, right? And I got in with that energy, and the saddest and the most traumatic experience at that point of time, when I came to know that my name is there. Before the interview, I had passed the entrance and I had to go for the interview. The most traumatic experience and the gleeful one for my friend was to shave my mustache. Right? There was that small light mustache that had come, and to shave that, and my God, it was so traumatic. You won't understand what it means. I mean, maybe we will understand. They won't understand what it means to lose the mustache for a 17-year-old, because we used to pride ourselves with that, and hardly it could shape, but we used to try to twirl it, and it was an integral part of it, a part of life, and to shave that and then see yourself actually handsome, but at the same time and at the same time different, right? It's I went home. Dad was there. And he didn't realize that I've shaved my... I told, what? You can't make out the difference? Kind of a thing. And then all of a sudden he was talking. Then it struck him. Where did you get this done? I told, no, we went to the barber and got it done. Right? So these are all experiences that are still there in my heart, so close. Because, what is infinity, dear brothers? The 0 and 1 that I spoke about yesterday. What is between 0 and 1? That is infinity. I'm just opening up that 0 and 1 to experience, and I can find infinity there. And that I can relive an entire lifetime in those small experiences. Swami has not even entered physically in my life, but there is still so much of joy. The reason I'm spending so much time here is that all this is still just an idea of Baba. And I'm finding joy there. Bhagawan physically has not even entered in these 17 years of life. And yet, there is so much of joy, there's so much of laughter in this auditorium about a boy's adventure of finding God. I think that's the beauty. That is something we should never forget. That is what eternity means. That we can live an eternity of a life, eternity in a moment. Right? We can create that experience for our children, for a new devotee, through our projection of the divine energy. We can create that magic for others. And that would be an infinite story for them. That would be their infinity between 0 and 1. Right? And that is what we as an organization should be able to create and think of ways and means of creating that. And so with that energy that I entered Vrindavan, and it was 1991, and I spoke about 24th of May 1991, when Bhagawan spoke about that Idli incident. Same Bombay energy, right bang on, because we birds of a feather flock together. I immediately came to Parthi in an ocean of friends. I made friends with 3 other Bombay boys, right? Birds of a feather. And there was this guy, Cisco, Sai Krishna became Cisco. Every name changes in Parthi, right? So Cisco was my pal, and I was telling him, "Kya yaar, 4 idli dete hain, hum 10 idli khate the," right? The same Bombay ka language. And here is Bhagawan telling the same thing. What? Do you want to eat 10 idlis? I keep telling that I could hear the earth rotate, that the sound of the... I was so nervous, I was so scared. That fear of God came back again, right? That saying that I have been watching you throughout. And that was a mind-bending experience for me, saying that here is Bhagavan, lovingly, very playfully, showing that I am hearing everything that you say. And that was Bhagavan's grand entry into my life. And that was the entry, and then he disappeared. Of course, for the next 5 years, he never spoke to me, hardly had any interactions, one-off interactions here and there. But in those years of stay, it was the pining that started building up. You're seeing others come closer to Swami, seeing others getting showers of love from Swami. That aspiration started building up. We started looking at, we should look up at our lecturers. We used to look up at Sundar brother as a teacher. We used to hear stories, wonderful stories about what accomplishment others have done. And we, that individual alpha who was thinking that, no, I am everything and I am the guy, the man, started realizing that there are other the men in the hostel who are all equally talented, who are much more talented than you are, who have got multiple diversity of talents, right? Which you cannot even think about. And you have to find your own way of attracting the divine. For me, it became sports. So I used to practice high jump like mad, and I was a high jumper. I was very confident that if not the gold, at least the silver would be mine. There was another Bombay boy who used to always beat me. I don't know what's with Bombay guys. So Rakesh Prabhakaran was always the gold medalist. He was an amazing district level athlete who would beat me in high jump. And finally, after 5 years, in my 5th year, I finally got a gold medal. And that year, Swami did not give the medals. Right? So these are all like stories of crazy. The ups and the downs of life that keep happening. I still remember that huge anger that Swami did not give, and the warden was distributing the things in the hostel. I told, who's going to take the thing from the warden? I boycotted the prize distribution ceremony, my personal resistance to Bhagwan's decision. But that was the hostel journey, and in that journey was sports was one thing, and dance was another. So in spite of all this braggadocio that I speak about, that the alpha thing, I remember one incident where I had one teacher, maybe 40 kgs, thin, Dr. Nageshwar Rao, very, very thin gentleman, very soft-spoken. He had called me for an Viva. Viva was saying, you have to go talk about the experiment that you have done. He told, come for Viva, man. And I went to the next room, and he sat down and made me stand in front of the blackboard. I did not even know what is Viva other than the drink that we have in India. Viva. But Viva, I didn't know he come, and unfortunately I was the first person in the lab. So he told Satyajit, come for Viva, man. And I went with him, and he made me stand there. My legs started trembling, my throat was parched. He was asking me a few questions. I could hear him, but not a single word of chemistry was entering my head. He's like, can you smell something, man? And I know I can smell hydrogen sulfide. It's the worst smelling rotten egg gas smell that I know that the answer is hydrogen sulfide, but nothing is coming out of my mouth. Because that was the nervousness that was inbuilt in me. That was me at that point of time. I could make all the noise sitting in the crowd with the boys, hidden anonymity, hidden in the power of the peers. In the protection of my peers, I was a rowdy, I was a king, but alone, I was like that. Have you seen that video of that pup that keeps barking at the neighbor when the master is holding it? And then when the master goes away, it sits like that. So that those peer group was my master, right? The pressure, the power that the peers have on you in the teenage. Understand that for group 4 and for the young adults. Yesterday we had an understanding amongst the young adults that there is something called YYA and OYA. That means young adults and the old young adults. So because it's 18 to 40, so we made that distinction. So this is probably more true for the group 4 and the YYAs, right? Where the peers hold an unbelievable amount of pressure on us. And that's what Bhagawan dismantles. That's what Bhagawan dismantles first. So anyway, I was that nervous kid. I was not able to answer. Giving you a picture of what it was to be from Bombay after 17 years, 12 years of education, no courage to speak, to give the answer to a teacher. I can write exams, I can finish all those things, but no ability to speak. And that's when I found drama, that's when I found dance, that's when I found sports, right? The importance of cultural events. Yesterday I was talking to the kids, SEC kids and the parents of the SSSIO, that the kind of personality development that happens through all those other things is unbelievable, right? I can see my Ganas here when I did the Shiva Tandava. I was Shiva and my friend here, and they were all the Ganas. They were doing the Shiva Tandava. And that Shiva Tandava was an unbelievable experience. Before that, I was doing, my choreographer is sitting there, Dr. Sundarayar. He made us do ball dance. Can you imagine? Right? We were in our black pants and white polo neck t-shirts. We did break dance. We did Bharatnatyam. In polo neck t-shirts, we did Bharatnatyam. The creativity, the complete, absolute freedom to create something new and offer it to Bhagawan on the stage, on the ground, to create something new, saying that fusion of the West and the East, once some unbelievable music that we had come. And brother comes in the middle, he said that he had told us all, guys, don't get surprised if something unusual happens during the thing. We have what we have not practiced. And we were doing all the dance, and suddenly Sundaraya sir comes with 2 fire torches and he's blowing fire all over the place. I mean, it's unthinkable, the kind of magic that used to happen in that institution. So what I'm saying is Bhagawan has created an entire, even before he picked me up, he has allowed me to marinate in the system that he has created. That's what this is, right? This is we preparing youngsters, preparing leaders of the future by marinating in this experience, fighting with one another, young adults struggling against the old young adults and the elders, and all that is part of the marination process, is part of the soaking before the actual wash and the tumble dry is going to happen. Right? I mean, you don't know yet what the next phase is going to be, right? Right? There is going to be tumbling in life. And this is all the preparation. And he allowed the system to create that. And for that boy who was shivering and trembling in his feet to perform in front of 10,000 people a Shiva Tandava dance, you can imagine what it meant to that youngster, right? To get that photograph with Swami as a Shiva right? And to ride a bike from the ground to mandir, ride pillion dressed as Shiva, right? You can imagine Shiva sitting on a motorcycle and going, I mean, on the roads of Puttaparthi, right? And fortunately, my friend took me because mine was the last dance. And then I went, Swami had already gone for dinner. He had gone inside and all the photographs were over. I had come late. I was sitting just outside the interview room and my mustache fell, right? And mustache fell, and with all that jata and this and all those makeup, I was looking like a girl, right? And that mustache was the only saving grace, and that fell. And Swami came. I tried, putting it back, and I applied some spit to it and tried. All the what shall I say? The heartless friends of mine started. They were hissing, right? Again, you are dressed as a Shiva, being catcalled, right? These are the experiences that Bhagawan, this is the marination that happens. And then Bhagawan comes out and, oh, Shiva! Oh, come. He holds my hand. I have that photograph with me, standing like this next to Swami holding my hand, me holding the mustache in my hand, right? and a memory of a lifetime. Having done Shiva Tandava, Bangaya, Shiva Bangaya was the dialogue of the Hyderabad coach who had come to teach us. Bharatnatyam, Kathak, Kuchipudi, approximations of all those things we would do in the programs. But you understood how the body functions. You understand grace. You understand poise. You understand every aspect which would otherwise never be inculcated into us in any other education institutions. That's the system that Bhagawan had created. And then came dramatics. So, I played the role of Sahadeva, I played the role of Saint Peter, I played the role of the light boy, and then I got this role where I was the father of a child, the lead role of a child who has a hole in his heart. So I fight back, saying that, what's all this, somebody's saying Narayana Mantram, that song, and I shout. My aim during all the practice sessions was, after that thing, I should go and ask hey, did I reach the entire red on the what's it called? The mic, that mixer? Did I reach the maximum? Then stop this singing, kind of a thing. My only was that, can I shout loud enough for it to reach the red thing? And enough, man, slow down is what my friends used to say. But the way the drama was written was that, it's as if I'm Hiranyakashipu stopping the Narayana Mantram song. But I'm actually the boy, and I still remember seeing Swami come for the rehearsal. Swami is looking at the Narayana Mantram, and from this side I enter and stop. I remember Swami's eye, looking, who's this guy? And that was that look. And I said, yes, I've got his attention, kind of a thing. Got his attention. And, he called me, this was, Anjali Devi Garu was there, and she started directing for some time. And she was giving me directions in a modern drama, the directions of Anjali Devi in her 1960s, 1970s role. And she was teaching me how to cry. You can imagine, getting it from the master. And all those expressions I used to do, I used to literally imitate. And I remember our director, he giving up. He's saying that there are too many directors here. Satyajit, you do whatever she says, man. I'm not going to direct you anymore. And to add to the challenges, here is Bhagawan sitting. He came for a rehearsal, and I was stop and this and that. And so he called me. I was like in bliss. Swami is actually finally, after 5 years, he's talking to me, and he says that, "Dekho Pangaru, itna gussa nahi kar sakta." So itna gussa kai ko God ke upar gussa nahi reh sakta. I told, okay, Swami. Well, Swami spoke to me. I went to the director. Sir, Swami told not to be so angry. The whole scene, the crux of the scene is you're angry with God, and Swami said, don't be angry. Okay, tone down the anger and increase the emotion. So next time, I was like full Anjali Devi mode. I did all those things. And next time Swami comes, देखो बंगारू, सब सारा बॉयज है, सारा बॉयज के साथ इतना रो नहीं सकता. Look, there are so many boys there, so many everybody there. How can you cry so much? So I say, how can you cry so much? There are so many boys here. How can you cry so much? Right? First he said, don't be angry. Then he says, don't be sad. So anger and sadness were the two main things in that drama. And then Swami said, basically he's teaching temperance, but in dramatic effect, everything has to be amplified. But he says, tone it down. So that's when Sandeepan sir said that I'm out. You do whatever your two bosses are telling you, right? Anjali Devi and the big boss. So you do whatever he says. But that was the change in my life, where he picked me up and he started talking to me. And then I got a chance to go to Kodaikanal, and then life changed. Life completely changed. And that was, the master had finally lassoed the stallion. Right? That's how I keep telling. In one of when I had gone to Bombay to speak to a samiti very close to my own home, and there I had spoken, the topic was taming of a stallion, right? Because he does not change the stallion, he directs the stallion. That's the key. That's the key difference between in all our things. Do not try to change the individuals. Direct them, channelize the energy. Do not reduce the energy. Do not douse the fire. Channelize the fire. I think that's what the system needs to do. When we started the Vidyavahini program, I would say, I don't want values in the Vidyavahini program. I don't want Swami's values in the Vidyavahini program. And people will be shocked. What are you talking about? I want to see Swami's personality in the program. His personality, understanding that humor of Bhagawan, the humility of Bhagawan, the grandeur of his sheer presence, the vision of unity, the vision of Advaita that he had, that should be in every aspect of our program. Our program should derive from that and not from written values of this thing, because that becomes a diluted. So we, as the SSC teachers, as the young adults program, as we start looking at, yesterday I was seeing the struggle of the young adults fighting against the 5Ds and the values, and the struggle of those values which probably may or may not link to my contemporary lifetime, my contemporary life in the USA. Maybe those values are too traditional, more Parthi focused, more India focused. Those are the questions among the young adults. But these are civilizational values. These are values of the human civilization. This is for our ascent to divinity. And we need to reflect on Bhagawan's personality, reflect on what it means to be divine, and then look at bringing those values in. And here was Bhagawan slowly picking me up. First and foremost intervention there was that Niku Abhimanam Chala Yekua, means you have too much of attachment. You have too much of attachment. Valim Chiptaro, Vilam Chiptaro. What will he say? What will she say? That is what is governing you. His first hit is on the peer pressure. My master. Peers, my peers were my masters, right? And I remember one of my teachers saying that, Satyajit, now that you have been picked up for Kodaikanal, I think you should reduce your friendship with others, be a bit more silent, be a bit more circumspect about your behavior. And I was furious with that teacher. I came and told my friends, what does he think of himself? How can I let go of my friends just because I've got an opportunity to go to Kodaikanal? My friends are my everything. And 1 year later, I went and spoke to that gentleman, that sir, and said that, why is it that for the first 5 years I never understood this, that it is important for me to temper, to not be governed by what my friends think of me. And it took me 6 months of painful silence to unshackle myself. And that's a very painful experience. To be committed to a higher cause needs you to let go of your past selves, of I wouldn't say baggages, but of some linkages that's probably tying you down. And that's not an easy process, because that is part of yourself. Your friendship is your body attachment. Body attachment is not just, when say that you should let go of body attachment, the only example that comes is that if I'm getting poked by a pin, will I not react? That's the only concept of body attachment that we have. But these are body attachments. Our relationship, our house, our profession, our belief about ourselves, my professional identity. Right? How will my professional identity come in, what shall I say, will it come in the way of my spiritual identity? Big discussions that I've heard in groups, in group discussions. We define these identities for ourselves, and those are all part of our body attachment. And he hits on those things. Evartho matladoddu, don't talk to others. In one of those days, I had come into the interview room, and he shows me a letter from the boys. He says that, see, this is what your boys are writing to me, saying that it's useless for Swami to waste time on this boy. He's too talkative. He does not deserve your grace. Is this what you have? And I knelt down on my feet and I said that, yes, Swami, that's true. I was a boisterous guy. I used to talk a lot, but I'm trying to change. But the past is catching up. See, this is every youngster's thing. This is every youngster who's saying that, okay, now I'll stop going there. I'll start coming to the samitis. I'll start working towards a purpose. He gets pulled back. Who are you, man? I mean, do you really believe in God? I am an atheist. But can you prove that your theism is better than my atheism? These are the discussions that they go through. They have to unshackle themselves. And that I fell down on my knees and said that is true, Swami. I'm not worthy of your love. I'm not worthy of your love. Swami said that because of you, I am getting a bad name. And I completely crumbled with that statement. It was too heavy for a 22-year-old to hear that God is getting a bad name because of me. Oh my God, it's like too much of a cross to bear. And I knelt down, and as I was kneeling down, Swami held the back of my head and put it on his chest. And all that cry just, it just stopped. Peace, immediate, my forehead just touched, and there was peace. And then he pulled me to the chair, and he sat down, and I was kneeling next to him. And he said something that changed my life forever. He said that, did you run around naked as a child? Did you run around the house naked as a child? And I was like wondering, wiping my tears, and I said, what is he asking? Tell me, did you run around naked as a child? I told him, yes, Swami, probably. And then it creates an image. Will you do that now? So no. Are you ashamed that you used to run around naked as a child? I said, no. I'm getting it. Where is he going towards? I said, Nira, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. What you did before Swami spoke to you was perfect for that phase of your life. Just like the child running around naked is perfect. But you running around naked now, once that Swami has started speaking to you, you continuing with that same behavior is wrong. Don't be ashamed of what you did before. Start a life now. Be an ideal today. You cannot imagine the power that it gave me, brothers and sisters. Right? Saying that, let go, your past is gone. Right now you can make a new beginning. Right now you can make a new beginning. How many youngsters can we empower that way? How many youngsters can we say that I stand by you? Forget all these letters, leave it. I stand by you. You make a difference, but you give me a commitment. You give me a commitment that you will change. My life turned around. My life completely turned around that day. And it was a different Sathya that emerged from that one incident. My friend stopped speaking to me. People started thinking that he's become arrogant. I lost my friends. It's all right. I have all of them coming and talking to me today, because they understood. Now they have to grow. Everybody has to grow. Everybody has to catch up. What Bhagawan does is he accelerates our growth. Without his presence, the growth takes 10, 15 years longer. And he's accelerating our growth. And when there is an acceleration, we lose some friends. I had a dream at that point of time of sitting in a open ship kind of a thing. It's a very open, like what's it called, that aircraft carrier kind of a thing. Open this thing, and on top of that, everybody is moving in those that cars that go and bump into each other. Something of that. We are all sorry. Yeah, not go-kart, that the bumper car, something on those lines. We are all sitting in very small chairs, and it's just moving around very smoothly, and it's banging here, banging there, banging here, banging there. And as I bang into somebody, it says, "What do I learn from you? What do I learn from you? What do I learn from you?" I go bang into my father. "What do I learn, mother? What do I learn from you? What do I learn from you?" Dum, 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 dum. Sometimes I'm going forward. What do I learn? I come back. Somewhere, I'm not progressing. I'm going here, there, and then I bump into Swami, and both the chairs, it just takes off like a vertical takeoff there, and I woke up. A dream that has emerged, that has stayed with me, saying that every experience is a learning. Every experience is something that we learn till we come in contact with divine, and then we are going to the next plane, next level. And these are experiences that he curates and he pours into our mundane existence. I just need to check a time. How are we on time? What's the time now? 10:25. We are on till 10:45, right? Yeah, okay. I've got 15 minutes more. Sorry, 20 minutes more. 20 minutes more. Okay. So this is the process of slowly getting used to the divine orbit. This is that young boy who started from there, getting used to the divine orbit, the stringent rigor with which Bhagawan would hold you. And I remember the next phase was in the this. I was already in my MBA by that time, right? And getting into the MBA was a tough thing, because I didn't know whether I'll get my admission into MBA or not. And that was the biggest thing in my mind. And yesterday, brother was telling that go for the best when you get a chance. And I got an interview. I got a chance to go into the interview. After 5 years of my stay in Prasanthi Nilayam, for the first time I stepped into the interview room inside to bring laddus for distribution. And I was taking the laddu out, and Swami said, "Hey, come here." I handed over the laddu, I remember, to my friend Sanjay, and I gave it to Sanjay Singh, not the Sanjay, right? And I gave it to him, and then he walked. He walked out, and Bhagawan said, "Come here. What do you want?" This is before Swami started speaking to. "What do you want?" I'm surprised, Swami, what do you want? Swami, "I want you, Swami." "That is different, sir. What do you want? Tell me." "Swami, only you, Swami." "Tell her, what do you want?" The most important thing in my head is admission in MBA, right? So I had Swami, MBA seat, Swami. Swami actually held my collar. Right? He put my neck and said, "Go ask the Vice Chancellor." Go, right? That is his department. Go. Then I told, no, come back to the original answer. "Only you, Swami, only you." And I started crying, right? And I said, "Only you, Swami." I mean, but he brings out, he teaches you, that there are other departments, other gods and godheads, that you can ask the smaller things in life. When you are with me, ask only for me, right? I remember drama was my gateway to Bhagawan, right? Because of that drama, he had seen me, and I was then so close to him. So the next year, when I was close to Bhagawan, obviously they knew that I was going to be the star cast for that drama, right? And Sandeepan had written the entire drama around me as the main character, and I was like super excited. He had spoken to that, and then he came and told Swami about the drama and about this is the script and this is what, and instead of the character he was telling, this is what Satyajit would be doing instead of so. And Swami told, "Bahut chala santosham, bahut acha, very, very good, very good." And then he said, so I used to go every day to the interview room, spend about 15-20 minutes with Swami, then go inside, have a meal, he would sit there and see me eat. So this was my everyday experience, spending time and then again come and sit with the Vice Chancellor, Registrar and the Controller. We used to call them VCR. All the three would come sit, and I got to spend about an hour with Swami every day, every afternoon, from about 2:45 to 3:45, and then Swami would go for darshan. And he said, Swami said, so from tomorrow onwards, go do the drama. Acha practice kar sakta hai. You can do good practice. You don't come here tomorrow onwards. I don't know, Swami, the practice can be done in the evening and other times, Swami, this. No, you can practice a lot. You do the practice. It's a terrifying thing, right? You have to choose. You have to choose between the one most important aspect of your life. Saying that dramatics is I am an actor. I am an actor. That is me. And you're telling me to choose between me and you? And then I was doing all kinds of arguments. Swami, evening drama, evening practice from 7 o'clock till 11 o'clock we'll do, and from even till 12 o'clock we can do. No, drama is very important. You should do a lot of practice. Don't come here. And I said, no, Swami, I don't want the drama. Why? Drama is very good. And I finally decided not to go for the drama. I said, Swami, drama is meant to come to you. I have come to you. Why do I need the drama again? But it was a painful experience. It was as if you're letting go of a core aspect of yourself. How can you live without your professional identity? How can you do that? How can you choose? But these are the small things he's teaching about what it means to sacrifice small things for a larger goal. For when you're working towards a higher purpose. That is what life is all about. It's about priority. Hundreds of students ask, people ask, how do you manage time? How do we manage them? What about priorities? That was my biggest, I literally felt it was a sacrifice kind of a thing. It's a sacrilege to think that, is it not? To think that you let go of something, but it was an important thing. But what I got because of that was that for every drama rehearsal, Bhagawan would take me with him in his car. Right? And I would get to sit next to him and criticize the actors. Right? I mean, that's what you get. You don't realize what is in store for you at the next level because we think that this is my identity, this is my professional identity. But these are the anatma that he's slowly letting go. Because every single aspect that is related to the body, yehi samspar sajab hoga, dukkha yonaye avate. So whatever is born out of the senses is the womb of dukkha, of sadness. Anything that is born out of your sense, anything that you can see, touch, feel, smell, is the womb of dukkha, of sorrow. Nateshu ramate buddha. He says, no, the wise man does not play with those things, does not get fascinated by those things. This is the aspect that Bhagawan is teaching through very silly, small things that mean everything to us, to that individual at that age. Contextualization of the highest spiritual truth to the experience of that youngster, of that perfect for that age. And that's how I realized that I was no longer going to get anything from the so-called quote-unquote world, and then I need to be focused completely on Swami. And that's where the inner transformation started. The training for the next level of things started. Where it was more and more about silence, about attention, about being awake, as I said the other day. You're awake with Bhagawan's presence. You're awake. You are extremely caffeinated, right? Like you're on the high of coffee kind of a thing. You're completely awake without coffee kind of a thing. And that's the only way to express that I have found, because I am a coffee lover, right? But I have never felt that awake as I would in Bhagawan's presence. And Every single detail, attention to detail was within my grasp at that point of time. My senses were supercharged. The hearing was attuned with, and even the smallest nuances of his voice, I could sense, okay, he's angry, or he wants something, and or his small movement of the hand, he would just do this. I know exactly what he wants. I mean, it was magical, right? A means what needs to be done. And that's the kind of training that started the next level. And then came the training of making space for others to come in. That was one of the biggest training. You have become close to Swami, and then you have to allow others to come in. I think that's the biggest exercise. I have known many a times I've spoken about the 1,000 days that he did not speak to me. I'm sure many of you would have heard that. For 1,000 days he did not speak to me. No, I would be seated next to him. I would do Pad Seva. I would be seated next to him in the car. But I know that all is not well. He's not talking to me. 1,000 days, can you imagine? 2.5, 3 years I had gone through that phase. And I never understood why he did not speak to me. It took me about 15 years, nearly 20 years, to understand what was going on during that phase. During these 25 months of reflection, it dawned on me. What he was teaching me was that I need to make space to be a mentor. I need to make a space for others to come closer to Swami and not hang on to him. That was the phase where he was pushing me, holding me, but pushing me. Holding me, but pushing me. Coming and talking to me in dreams, amazing dreams I would get, but physically I wouldn't be able to connect. I would be doing Pad Namaskar, Pad Seva to him, but all I would see is the Prime Minister's photograph because the newspaper will be open. And I could not see his face. Right? There's a newspaper between me and him. And the moment Chiranjeev Rao Garu used to come, he would tell, newspaper would go away, go. And then again, he would read. And then he'll fold the newspaper, keep it, inkem samacharam to Chiranjeev Rao. I would be seated there. He would call the cooks to come and do Pad Seva. Right? I would be seated there eating an apple, the apple turning into ash in my mouth, as the two cooks were sitting under the table and doing Pad Namaskar, Pad Seva to Swami. Right? He was pushing. And I did not make sense. I was feeling it was me, the ego, saying that me, Swami, I am your servant. You have chosen me. I am the one. You're not allowing me to do seva. I used to write. That's when I learned to write Telugu. I used to take the Telugu Sanatan Sarthi and write. Every single discourse I should write. I've got books of Telugu writing. I used to practice because I cannot speak to him. He wouldn't give me a chance to speak. So I started writing letters to him inside Purnachandra. Right? You are inside Purnachandra, but you're giving letters. I'm scared to give the letters, so I surreptitiously put that letter on his chair. I would leave that chair, hoping that he would read. And then come and check, did he read that letter? Is it gone? Oh, he's taken it up. He's taken my letter up. And I would write, saying that, Swami, I want to do your seva through Atmatruptika seva chese avakasham. That means I want to serve you with my soul's delight, to my soul's delight. Give me that chance, Swami. I'm finding that I'm not able to serve you. And then slowly it opened up and he embraced me again and I gave that chance. But one moment that happened, I remember, was I was sitting in the car. We were just going out of Prasanthi Nilayam and a devotee had come. He had come from the US and Swami suddenly said, hey, I know Chade. He said, oh, he's come. And and he did ayo. Then I realized that he wanted to allow that man to sit. So I told Swami, should I get down, Swami? Can I ask him to sit? Bangaru. That's the most common word, right? Bangaru, Bangaru cha. I cried because for 3 years I had thirsted for that word. When I said that I'll get down from the car, he said Bangaru. And it took me 15 years for the tube light to glow, saying that, oh, that's what he meant. That's what he was trying. Because that was the time where I was supposed to be mentoring a few more youngsters to serve him. Right? So that's how it grows, saying that, that word, Swami uses a very powerful word. He says, Patavalu rota ipotaru. He said that, it's a very powerful word. Rota means nauseating. Pata means old. The old ones become nauseating. many a times. It's a very, it hits you so hard. Who have been there for so long. I was there. I was an old boy by then, right? And it hurt me. It hurt my ego. But when I think about it, I see what he means, that we become so, what shall I say? What's the right word for this? What's the diplomatically right word? He said rota, but where's diplomacy after that? All right. So he says that we become blocks for the new people to come in. It's a very important reflection for us as an institution, as individuals. Are we in the way of somebody else finding the divine? It's an important reflection to have. What does it take for us to facilitate a youngster, a new person to come in? The institution has to be that way. In Kodaikanal, one of the days, I remember it hitting me directly. We were sitting at the dining table in Kodaikanal, and so every day after the food was served, we would all be seated. All the items would be served. We would be waiting for Swami to finish, his plate to be served, and then Swami would do. And we would all close. So Brahmarpanam we would do. And then by the time we finished Brahmarpanam and see, Swami would have finished his eating. He would have eaten a little bit. He would have got up. So that was the process. When he does this, you eat. So one of those days, there were two foreigners who had come to Westerners. And they were sitting at the first table. And as soon as things were served on the table, they started eating. Somebody they were eating. And we were all blasphemy. My God, these guys have eaten without Brahmarpanam in front of Swami. Even before Swami ate, kind of a thing, right? It was the most blasphemous thing. So Swami looked at them, Chala Santosham. He put his hand on the shoulder of somebody. He went to coolly, walked to the next table, spoke something to that table. Then he came to the second. They were in the first table. So second table on that side. The third table he came here. Fourth table he went. He spoke something to the boys. He put his arms around the shoulders of the boys and said something. And the boys were all talking to. But I was like focused only razor sharp on Swami. I was saying that I will not talk to anybody else. I was in that phase. So unfortunately, he did not come to my table. So he finished all those things. All the boys were buzzing. I was like, why are you talking so much? And Swami went, sat at his table. They served him, and Swami told him. And so I wanted to lead with that. So I closed. Oh, nobody's following. I opened my eyes. Everybody's looking at me, and Swami is looking at me doing this. Apparently, Swami had gone to every table and said that, listen, these two new people have already started eating. Now, if you say Brahmarpanam, they will feel bad. Do the Brahmarpanam in your mind and eat. You see the adjustment? Inclusion. Embrace before rules hit you. Embrace before the rules. Rules can come later. Alignment can come later. First, enroll. First, bring them in. Let them see the warmth before they see the rules. They don't need to see the rules. The rules are, eventually will automatically come from inside. When there is love, they make the sacrifices. When they see a higher purpose, the lower purpose automatically goes away. The lower things just disappear. And that's the journey, dear brothers and sisters, of a young boy slowly getting groomed to do some more things at his lotus feet, to the training, intense training, the very, very intense training, of which the system, the message is this, dear brothers and sisters, of the system is a very important, the institution is a very, very important part of his churning process, his washing process, right? And I think we are all in that way part of the divine, that we are all extensions of the divine, to allow that process. Some people interpret it that it is our role to create so much problem for the lives of others that they find God. But that's not the interpretation, right? That's not the interpretation to be made. It is for us to facilitate. It is for have to. I know people. Some people Swami used to call them Puttapartilo chuste Alsatians, Dobermans unnaru. In one of those discussions, he had told that you go to the what is that? The accommodation office. There is an Alsatian sitting there. You go to the canteen. There's a Doberman sitting there, kind of a thing, right? I'm just in a lighter vein, nothing to do with, but it is for our self-reflection. Are we the watchdogs and the guard dogs, or are we the welcoming? Somebody said that somebody has a greeting role. Somebody I heard somebody saying that somebody is given the role of the greeter, the official greeter of. I loved that concept. All of us should be official greeters. All of us should make a new person welcome. And hear Bhagawan say, Bangaharu, Bangaharu. Right? That you are making space for someone new to come and experience the joy of Swami. I think the journey is a long one. We have just started it, but probably we'll have more conversations, more opportunities to speak in the years to come. But this has been such a wonderful thing, sharing this. I know this was joyous and light compared to the Jnana Marga thing yesterday. And but I know that that's an important aspect. It's from that height, that huge presence, that all this love comes. That this is not just a cuddly, sweet-looking 5 feet 3 inch Swami that is creating these experiences for us. That's just a small form of that holder of the Hiranyagarbha, right? So let us understand that this companionship that we find is the companionship of the Eternal One. That's what we mean by the eternal companion. Jai Sai Ram. Thank you very much.